Welcome back, everyone. This is Thomas Gunn at Das Haus, and today we're going to be making a German, I call it the chocolate cookie cake. It does actually have a name. I can't think of it right now, so I'm going to look it up online and I'll put it in the description box or in the title. So I just wanted to show you real quick before we get going. You're going to need 1 cup of shortening. I'm using vegetable shortening. More specifically, Crisco, not sponsored, and you need to melt it in a double boiler. If you don't have a double boiler, just put yourself a little bit of water like this, about 1 inch of water in the bottom of a pot. Get yourself a bowl that fits in, that's not touching the water. Let this simmer until your 1 cup of Crisco is melted. All right, guys, we're back. So the Crisco, or the shortening, whatever it is you're using, the 1 cup, has all been melted in the double boiler and it's being set aside to cool down. In the meantime, get yourself a loaf pan. This is a 11-inch loaf pan. Sorry. Typically I line it with parchment paper. You do a strip this way and then a strip this way. This is just so that once it's done, it's easy to lift the cake out of the pan. This is a cake that you'll have to make a day ahead because it needs to sit in the fridge overnight. Unfortunately, I didn't have parchment paper, so I just used plastic wrap. I greased the pan first just so that the wrap would stick and at the same time also release tomorrow. And I did a double layer just for extra security. So let's put that aside. That's ready to go. Now, in a separate bowl, we're going to crack 2 eggs. These are large eggs. There's 2. Let's just give that a quick whisk. Into that, let's add just a pinch of salt. There we go. Then 6 tablespoons of sugar. Let's whisk that. A 1/4 teaspoon of rum extract. You could use real rum if you have a nice rum at home. In that case, I use a tablespoonful, but the extract is much stronger, so please don't use that much. Mix that up. And really, the rum flavor is quite subtle, so don't worry about it. And then we're going to add in, let's do our 6 tablespoons of milk. I'm using whole milk, which here in Canada is known as 2%. I'm not sure if that's the same everywhere else. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. Give that another whisk. Also, I want to tell you now that you're going to need a box of tea biscuits. So really, it doesn't matter, buy any kind that you like. These are the ones that I'm using. I prefer the ones that have a few holes in them because they soak up the chocolate better. Alright, sorry about that. My camera died again. Alright, so unfortunately, or fortunately, you only missed 1 step. So after we had added the milk, we just added 6 tablespoons of sifted flour, and we whisked that into the egg mix, and after that we whisked in the room temperature or slightly warm shortening. And that left us with a mixture like this, as you can see. It's quite thick, it's chocolatey. If it gets too thick for you, you can always put it over the double boiler just for a minute, constantly stirring. So after that, I put a layer of chocolate in the bottom of the lined loaf pan. And then all you do is take your cookies and start layering. So here we go. I'm going to do this all the way across. If your cookies don't fit exactly, just break them off, make them fit. It's a bit of a puzzle at that point. Here, I have another piece I can put there. There you go. So that's the first layer done. You're going to put some of the chocolate mix on top of that. Spread it. Not too thick, not too thin. A good rule of thumb is you don't want any cookie peeking through. You want to leave yourself enough chocolate so that you think you will reach the top of the pan without running out. So there we go. Just going to spread this out. And this does have to set overnight because as it sets, that's what gets the cookies. They start to soften. And this is actually a real cake. I don't know when this was developed. I kind of wonder if perhaps it was during wartime. So let's do one more layer real quick. Well, actually, I don't really need to. You guys get the gist of this. We're just going to keep doing this. So keep doing this until you get all the way to the top, or you run out of cookies, or you run out of chocolate. Just keep going until you get all the way to the top and finish with a layer of chocolate. Once I'm done, I'll be back. So here we go. I've gotten to the top of the pan. I'll just take this off. Make yourself some kind of design on the top, however you like, because the top of the cake will be the top of the cake. This does not get turned out because obviously you can't with the icing. It gets lifted out of the pan and then put on a plate. So I've covered it with plastic wrap. Sorry about the glare. And this will now go in the fridge overnight. And tomorrow, once I unmold it, I'll come back and give you guys a peek. Catch you later. So here we go. I've unmolded the chocolate cookie cake. I actually had it in the fridge for 3 days, but like I said, 1 day ahead is fine, but this is obviously something you could make ahead, you know, probably up to a week, I'd say. The longer it sits, the better it gets, the more the cookies start to absorb the frosting. And I did some research and I found out that the name in German is kalte hund, which means cold dog, or kalte schnauze, which means cold snout. And upon further research, it's named that, or so they think, because when it's pulled out of the fridge, it's cold, and a dog's nose is supposedly also always cold. So that's the reasoning behind that. I'm just going to cut a slice for you guys. So there you go. As you can see, you'll see all the layers, and depending on, you know, how much frosting you had, how far it got you will depend on how many layers you have. Anyway, I'm sure you'll enjoy this. Please don't forget to add the rum. It really doesn't taste very alcohol-y, but it does give it the particular flavor that this cake is known for. So please try it with the rum. And I hope you enjoy it. So like this video, subscribe, ring the bell, and bon appetit.